Helium is the undervalued and the understated commodity that nobody knows that we rely on. More or less all electronic items rely upon helium. For space launch, you need helium. For MRI scanners, you need helium. And then also in breathing gases as well, for people with lung conditions, let's say. It is quite interesting that helium being the second most abundant element in the universe, helium has become more rare in the past decade, so helium exploration has occurred for the first time.
Pulsar is committed to sourcing primary helium, helium not tethered to hydrocarbon production. We firmly believe that primary helium is set to play an important role in the green energy transition.
We're currently around about 100 kilometers east of Lake Superior, biggest lake in the world, and about a 2-hour drive south of the Canadian border. We're in a place called Babbitt in Minnesota.
The conditions are really great right now. It's been a bit of a warm winter, so we have a lot less snow. We have a very professional and efficient crew, and we're expecting a very successful operation.
Pulsar as a company was formed in 2021, but it did start prior to that with its wholly owned subsidiaries. So we got involved in earnest in 2019. We listed as a company on the Toronto Stock Exchange last year in 2023. But really, from that point, it's been getting everything ready for this particular moment in time.
So the drilling for helium gas is basically the same process drilling for hydrocarbons, but we don't use any controversial methods such as fracking. It's all just basically drill the borehole. And we need to be looking for more primary helium sources. So any reservoir that we find is going to be what we call a virgin reservoir, which means that it's never been produced from. As the drive for hydrocarbon exploration and production in the future declines, we will need these sources of helium. It's a gas for current and future technologies. There's a growing demand for it.
In addition to the big ones, tech, med tech, fiber optics and aerospace, helium is used in a variety of other areas and industries, including quantum computing, welding and fabrication, technical diving, fusion energy and the associated R&D, renewables, leak detection, automotive and airships. So the application and usage of helium is wide-ranging as and when it's available.
For Pulsar, we go off and we find new occurrences of helium. And so our Topaz project in Minnesota that has been drilled and flowed 10.5% helium. It's important for multiple reasons. One is that the overall amount of gas that you need to find at that high concentration is actually quite low to justify the plant build. And then ultimately too, is that if there are any fluctuations in the helium price, being a high-grade producer gives the possibility of being able to weather those fluctuations, which perhaps a lower-grade helium producer would not have the ability to do so.
A lot of people talk about the key characteristics of a helium find being grade, flow rate, size and scale of the resource. But actually, one of the other things which is equally important is safe jurisdiction. By this, I mean, is the helium project located in a country or region which is significantly developed? Is it relatively safe and stable? Our Topaz project here in Minnesota in the USA is incredibly well located, which is crucial as we position ourselves as one of the major players in North America in the months and years to come.
Good morning, here we are at the Topaz site, Jetstream #1, and today's Spud Day. It's a big occasion, so it's just after 7 o'clock in the morning and everyone's ready to go. So it's a big moment for the company, and today we start drilling Jetstream #1.
Well, we've been working on this for several years, so it was really nice to see the mast go up, and then today the spud date. It's quite an accomplishment.
So I did get a tear in my eye this morning. I really did. So
a bit of a milestone moment for you and the team, I guess. A lot of years in the planning, so pretty amazing to see it actually happen. Drill bit in the ground, turning.
Whilst it's not as advanced as our Topaz project in Minnesota, the two new projects in Greenland is a great one. We identified that Greenland had the potential for primary helium. We found helium there that's not associated with hydrocarbons. There's so few places in the world that you can find primary helium, and so this is the first time that it's been identified in Greenland. And that's important because Greenland being a part of Europe, for Europe helium is on the critical list. Should we be successful there, then Europe would have its own supply of helium, and then it would be a clean source of helium as well. We're also driven by sustainability. After all, we have an opportunity here to reduce the footprint of a commodity. So we really like that project, and it's certainly something that we're looking to move forward.
The journey to where we're at today definitely had quite a few hurdles, and then, you know, over a bit of time, and they become more familiar with what the footprint's going to look like and what we're actually building out there.
So for the immediate focus is the Topaz project in Minnesota is to truly realize its potential, find out how large is this occurrence, and then see if we can fast track it towards production. And then with our two new projects in Greenland, there is providing a domestic source of helium that we certainly hope to achieve. To be able to provide the market with the opportunity to acquire helium that is not linked to the production of hydrocarbons, to give companies the choice to go for that greener supply source. So really, I think that what we could also potentially provide, and that we're striving for, is certainty to the customer, certainty to the medical world, that they will be able to get the product that they need for their technology to work.